Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, the 1611 King James Bible Prophecy Church. And we're in the book of St. Matthew, and we're moving on to chapter 14. And here we have Herod the Tetrarch. Notice we talked about how this is a line of these people in their bloodline, and they keep passing it on. And even though they're under Rome, they're under the thumb of Rome, they still call themselves kings and jealously fighting and wanting to slay Christ. But here's the offspring down the road here in chapter 14 of St. Matthew. So here we are, chapter 14, verse 1. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Jesus, and said unto his servant, This is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do shew forth themselves in him. Okay, so see, he had him beheaded. There's a whole thing with a dance, and John the Baptist is telling him the truth about the law, and the wife, Herodias, in a conspiracy, got this job done through the dance. And we will study that. Here in 3, we got a new paragraph, and it's going to explain it. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, It is not lawful for thee to have her. So that's right out of Leviticus in the law. 5, and when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. And that is absolutely true. He did prophecy. 6, it says, But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them, and pleased Herod. Okay, so we don't know exactly what kind of dance this was. I would think that it is probably an occult dance. It seemed to mesmerize Herod here, and he made this terrible promise here in 7. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, Give me here John the Baptist's head in a charger. Period. And 9, and the king was sorry. Nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison, and his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. So these are some really wicked people. 12, and his disciples came and took up the body and buried it, and went and told Jesus. 13, new paragraph. When Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. And Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude, and was moved with compassion toward them, and he healed their sick. New paragraph in 15. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals. 16. But Jesus said unto them, They need not depart. Give ye them to eat. 17. And they said unto him, We have here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Okay, there is the number 7 in that statement in 17. 18. He said, Bring them hither to me. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. Feed my flock. Anyway, 20, and they did all eat, and were filled, and they took up of the fragments that remained 12 baskets full. And they had eaten, and they that had eaten were about 5,000 men, beside women and children. All right, here Christ is teaching us the numbers of God. We got to go to music theory for this, because the throne of God is based on the numbers of music theory. It's called God's Holy Modal System, and our major scale and minor scales are made with a 7-note interval. It's time, times, and half a time, just like the tribulation. Now, anybody that's studied music knows what I'm talking about. Whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, and so if you break down 7 in the scale into half steps, you come up with the 12. So that's one thing about the throne of God and God's numbers. Remember that 12 or the 2 6s equals 7 when you break it down to half steps. So this is a subject we can go into, how the black keys were not tuned because they were evil. Those are the ones that are in between the major scale. And there are 5 of those. And when you hit the 6, that returns you to the beginning. You're made a full circle in the occult, and you complete your mission there in the occult. When they invented the harpsichord, they changed the black keys into the white and the white into the black as they were occultists. So there's that battle. When you see the band out here, the black keys, they're talking about evil. Okay, so that's another subject. We can go in deeper, the numbers of the Bible, and we are going to do that. But there is the basics to the 12 equals 7, 7 equals 12 here, taught by Jesus Christ in this history, yet it's a symbolic teaching on the numbers of the throne of God and the numbers used in the Bible. Okay, anyway, on we go, 22. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. Okay, so notice here the closet prayer that he's, through his actions, he's given us in his doctrine, the closet prayer, alone on the mountain to pray. The most powerful prayer. 24. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. 25. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And that's throughout our old doctrine about God walking on the sea, and a prophetic prophecy there in the Old Testament. 26. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. Wrong kind of fear, folks. 27. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid. 28. The number of generations from David to Christ. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. 29. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, boisterous, and that means strong according to the translators, he was afraid. See, there comes the fear, see? This is a good history/doctrine teaching on fear. Okay, 30. But when he saw the winds boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. 31. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Question mark. Now that's a good teaching there. See, when you are fearful with the wrong kind of fear, that's a moment of doubt. This is what we don't want that. We want to keep growing in the Spirit and building our faith as we watch the Lord do all the miracles for us that he's doing throughout the whole world. And his prophecies are all coming true, so our faith ought to be growing right now. 32. And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, O of truth, thou art the Son of God. So in all this, we got people growing here. 34 is a paragraph. And when they were gone over, they came to the land of Gennesaret. 35. And when the men that of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all that country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment, and as many as touched were made perfectly whole. So there's those teachings in 14. It's very interesting, fascinating, and we're going to move on here to chapter 15.